Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Burdett, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories tonight.
Allegation is an allegation.
Allegations are not proof, says the ANC. The governing party says they will give the Environmental Affairs Minister and others implicated at the Zondo Commission the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, at the state capture inquiry today, Angelo Agrizzi claims the rot at the Department of Correctional Services runs deep.
The whole world is turning right, and right can never be left.
And what in the world is former Cape Town Mayor Peter Murray up to now? Let's start here. The ANC won't be taking action against Mama Action. This is despite the startling allegations of corruption levelled at the Environmental Affairs Minister by former Bosasa COO Angelo Agrizzi yesterday. The ANC says it will not pronounce on Nomvula Mokonyane or other party members accused of corruption until the State Capture Commission has completed its work. Samkele Maseko has the story.
And remember, the commission is not a court of law, because in a court of law, you are then afforded an opportunity to present yourself. Because in a commission, the commission lawyers will tell you that there is a difference between a court of law and a commission. And that's why we need to tread very carefully.
Not the answer most South Africans want to hear. ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule did his best to outline the party's stance on allegations against Minister Nomvula Mokonyane. Mama Action, or Mama Transaction, as some are now calling her, has been implicated by former Bosasa CEO Angelo Agrizzi. He says Mokonyane was paid hundreds of thousands of rands to buy her influence. For now, the ANC is standing by her.
Allegation is an allegation.
The ANC says people need to be patient and let the commission complete its work.
The ANC can't, on the basis of one submission or testimony of one witness, rush and find somebody guilty of the ANC, because the commission must be allowed to do its work. That's why in the statement we would say those implicated must approach the commission to give whatever alternative version they have.
Magashule and Godwa say the commission must not be used as a kangaroo court against ANC leaders. Samkele Masego, Johannesburg.
Meanwhile, the State Capture Commission resumed today with a warning for the media. Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo said publishing testimony before it was presented to the Commission was self-serving and not in the public interest. With that tongue lashing out of the way, Angelo Agrizzi, former Bosasa COO, was allowed to continue his testimony. And he's naming a former Correctional Services Commissioner and Chief Financial Officer as beneficiaries of bribes. Aaron Bates has those details.
Angelo Agrizzi is implicating yet more government officials. He's alleging former Correctional Services Commissioner Linda Mti and the department's former financial officer Patrick Gillingham received Bosasa bribes. For Mti, they reportedly included travel bookings, study fees, private security and up to 65,000 rand in cash per month. Agrizzi is claiming Bosasa CEO Gavin Watson called Mti a safe bet.
Gavin Watson jokingly said, "You see, monopoly money, but this man delivers on his promises."
Bosasa had no prior business erecting high-security fences. Yet it won a 2005 tender with correctional services through front companies.
It was 486,937,910 rand.
R500 million.
Well, that wasn't the total value. Eventually, it grew and grew and grew.
The Special Investigating Unit has already scrutinized Bosasa's Correctional Services deal. Its findings were ready in 2009, but the report was buried. Agrizzi has testified Mti continued receiving gifts of thanks 10 years after the prison's boss left his job. Bosasa even built a lavish home to Mti's taste.
Gavin said, "You see this beautiful house you built?" He actually was being facetious. He says, "You built for this politician," meaning that, you know, he's saying that we worked and we earned the money, and then he would say that you actually built it because it was an expensive house. When the SIU report broke and everything started coming out, I was then only really informed of the scheme that happened. Until that time, I did not know how they had done it. I suspected that there was bribery, as it was very secretive.
Your estimate is that it would be around 18 million in value. 18.
Correct.
Incredibly, the businessman's still vying for state tenders.
There are some tenders out at the moment. I'm busy working on one where you have a 3 months response time.
The self-proclaimed corrupter turned whistleblower returns to the stand on Wednesday.
6 weeks.
Erin Bates, Johannesburg.
Moving now to allegations of bribery and corruption being heard at another probe. The Mokoro inquiry has been tasked with investigating whether senior prosecutors Nomvula Jiba and Lawrence Mkhwebi are fit to hold office in the NPA. Today, a senior member of the prosecuting authority's litigation unit testified. Now, he claims a 3-year-long investigation into allegations of corruption at government and private institutions was scuppered by advocates Jiba and Mkhwebi. Gavin Whittles has those details.
For 3 years, Chris McAdam had been working on a number of serious cases of foreign bribery. This included alleged kickbacks to government officials and SOE executives. Companies like Hitachi, MTN, Net1 and state-owned arms manufacturer Denel were also being probed. Then, suddenly, advocate Nomvula Jiba gave McAdam 24 hours to hand over the dockets before he was redeployed. 8 days later, then NPA head Sean Abrams told McAdam to continue his work, but it was too late. McAdam is claiming after he was removed, the investigations went nowhere.
In this matter, there was an entirely passive role taken. The impression I get, it was left to the police themselves to decide what to do or not to do.
Mkhwebi's lawyers are accusing McAdam of harboring a personal vendetta.
Your real gripe here and your real complaint is that you were removed, and that has clouded and impacted on your entire view of the matter, and that you have come here because of your personal disagreement with what happened and your personal feeling of having been some way insulted or not appreciated.
McAdam is denying this. While the inquiry isn't probing the motives behind McAdam's removal, his allegations paint a devastating picture of how infighting involving Jiba and Mkhwebi has affected the NPA. Gavin Whittles, Centurion.
And now to Cape Town, and a man with 9 lives, at least politically. Former Western Cape Premier and Cape Town Mayor Peter Murray is back, and his choice of new political home is sure to raise eyebrows. Today, the Freedom Front Plus introduced Murray as their Premier candidate for the Western Cape. The Freedom Front Plus is his 6th political party. Peter Murray resigned as the Mayor of Cape Town shortly after a High Court reinstated him in 2001. A year later, he resigned as Premier after a colleague accused him of sexual harassment. Like the Freedom Front Plus, he opposes affirmative action, is worried about the future of Afrikaans, and thinks self-determination is a solution for South Africa.
That is why the whole world supports Palestine, because they want self-determination. And that is why Scotland had a referendum. They want self-determination and don't want to be ruled by Britain. And that is why Brexit is there. The whole world is turning right, and right can never be left.
Well, still ahead on eNews, US singer Chris Brown has been detained in Paris on suspicion of rape. We'll also have all your business news with Rafiwa.
That's right, Sally. So risk-off sentiment is the order of the day, and the rand has suffered the most compared with other emerging market currencies.
Business news now with Rafiwa, and you've got some good news for us. The World Bank has revised South Africa's growth forecast upwards. Wonderful news. Why?
That's right, Sally. So we see from 0.8 in 2018 to 1.3 in 2019 and 1.7 in 2020. Now, these aren't substantial numbers, but it's good news because it's a revision upwards, which means that South Africa is on a positive footing. And this means that the structural reforms that President Cyril Ramaphosa and government have put in place in terms of the state commission into state capture, this commission into SARS, really just a positive indicator for investors as to where South Africa is headed. And it's good news because it will at some stage begin to provide that relief for consumers, more money in the economy in terms of investment inflows, which means further spending and just perhaps a thicker pocket for the consumer. So let's look at the bite. We spoke to one of the project leaders at the World Bank, and this is what he had to say about tertiary education and structural growth.
There is a large demand for skills in South Africa which are not being met by the South African systems. Okay, so it's true that there is unemployment among graduates from TVET and community colleges because the education they receive is not very good and it does not meet the demand from the market. But when you look at universities, masters, etc., the unemployment rate is 1, 2, 3%. The wages that graduates receive are extremely high. And so to us, it's a sign that there is a demand on the market.
Well, there's some good news with that growth forecast to take to Davos. Team SA has touched down. What's the word from them?
Right. So the message, as was last year, is South Africa is open for business. We're ready to be taking in all the opportunities that the globe has to offer. We spoke to Minister Jeff Radebe earlier, and he indicated that we've got that drive, that 5-year drive, to bring in $100 billion US. President Cyril Ramaphosa, through that investment summit, has already got just under 300 billion rand. So he's on a good footing, and the engagements that they'll be having at this particular forum are set to be perhaps getting in more investments, coming back with more investment for South Africa's economy.
Well, let's hope he can keep it coming from Davos. Thank you very much. Let's have a quick look at the indicators before you go.
So today the JSE weakened a little, and this in spite of disappointing updates from retailers, and again underscored that fragile state of South Africa's economy. On the commodities front, oil is back on that slippery slope, falling by around 3% today, and this is fears around China's economic slowdown worsen, although that's good news for the South African consumer. A quick look at your local unit now. The rand was weaker today against major global currencies, and this is after the IMF yesterday warned that global growth is slowing. Meanwhile, miners gained some support from that weaker local unit.
Thank you very much, Rafi. We'll chat again to you tomorrow. Let's take a look at other international news. And newly signed Cardiff soccer player Emiliano Sala is missing. The 28-year-old was on board a light aircraft that disappeared over the English Channel. Now, air traffic control alerted the local Coast Guard that the aircraft with 2 people on board had disappeared off its radar. Search and rescue efforts are currently underway. US singer Chris Brown has been arrested in Paris on suspicion of rape. It's reported that Brown, his bodyguard and a friend were detained after a 24-year-old woman alleged she was raped in the singer's suite at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. The 29-year-old is no stranger to legal troubles. In 2009, he pleaded guilty to assaulting his then-girlfriend, the singer Rihanna. In 2016, he was arrested following claims by a woman that he pointed a gun at her. Brown is reportedly still in French custody, may be facing a 15-year sentence if found guilty. Stay with us. After the break, we're going to go to our weather centre for live weather news, and then... Wow, beautiful voice. We tracked down this young boy. He's had social media abuzz with his beautiful voice. Let's get your weather news now. Joel Guy standing by in Cape Town. Evening to you, Joel. It was a scorcher today. More tomorrow?
Yes, indeed, Sally. It's going to get hotter for the central and eastern parts of the country with dry weather persisting in most areas. But this is how Wednesday is going to start off. We are going to be seeing lots of rain-bearing clouds for parts of the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal with light rain, particularly over the coastal areas and the adjacent interior. We will also be seeing a bit of drizzle over the southwest coastline and parts of the south coast. Then later on in the afternoon, isolated rain and thunderstorms are forecast for the eastern areas of the Eastern Cape and parts of KwaZulu-Natal. It's going to become partly cloudy, maybe cooling down those afternoon temperatures for parts of the northwest, southern Gauteng and the eastern areas of the Free State. And we are going to see stormy weather spreading into the rest of KwaZulu-Natal in the evening and very isolated thunderstorms popping up over parts of the northwest. Now let's take it closer to your part of the country. We are going to have another mostly sunny and sizzling hot day for the Northern Cape, especially for the eastern areas where top temperatures will stay in the upper 30s. A partly cloudy day is forecast for much of the Western Cape with a little bit of drizzle around Hermanus as well as parts of the south coast. Cape Town and Langaban will get away with partly cloudy skies, both warming to around 23 degrees. We stay with isolated rain and thunderstorms for the eastern areas of the Eastern Cape as well as parts of the coastal areas, including around East London and Port Alfred, where highs around 23 degrees are expected. KwaZulu-Natal will continue to see isolated thundershowers with temperatures on the hot side, especially over the northeastern sections. Another dry one is forecast for the Mpumalanga province, where highs in the lower to mid-30s are forecast for your Wednesday afternoon. We are going to stay with mostly sunny skies across Limpopo, Polokwane, warming to around 32 degrees, hotter for Tawazimbi and Lephalale, both shooting to around 37 degrees. A sunny and sizzling hot day is forecast once again across much of the northwest, where highs in the mid to upper 30s are expected. We are also going to see hot afternoon temperatures across much of the Free State, a small chance of thunderstorms for the eastern areas. Gauteng is going to stay pretty quiet, just a bit of cloud for the southern areas, but temperatures will reach the mid-30s on Wednesday afternoon. Now let's quickly look ahead to your Thursday. We are going to see rain and thunderstorms popping up over the eastern areas, a bit of rain for the Eastern Cape coastal areas and parts of the south coast. It will be mostly sunny and hot for Western South Africa. Then on Friday, stormy weather returns in earnest over Eastern South Africa, and we will see a few showers across the Eastern Cape. That's all from me for now, Sally. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Joel Guy in Cape Town. And finally, a video of a young Cape Town boy singing opera has been circulating on social media. Unbeknown to his family, it's gained much attention. Hundreds of people have been asking about him. Tanya Neft went in search of the talented boy.
It's this video that went viral on social media with no information on who or where the young man was from. That is, until now. We managed to find the opera singing star. 9-year-old Buko Diashana lives with his mom and 2 siblings in Delft. And while equally surprised by all the attention, tells us he's always been in love with opera.
You are an incredible singer. What do you love about opera so much?
I love the song, I love everything from the song, and I love the sound.
Unknown to his family, Buko has stolen the hearts of many on social media, all wanting the young man to gain the necessary support.
I didn't know that about this video at all, really. When a friend of mine came in on Thursday, he told me that, yeah, did you see your son that is on Facebook, he's all over. And then I was so excited, and then when I look at it, I said, wow, my son is going to be an opera singer one day.
His choir teacher, including all Buko supporters, stopped by to show support. Buko's family and supporters' biggest hopes are that he will get the support and necessary funding he needs to nurture his incredible talent.
Tanya Neft, Cape Town.
Absolutely amazing. Before we go, let's recap your top story this evening. The governing party says they will give the Environmental Affairs Minister and others implicated at the Zondo Commission the benefit of the doubt. From me and the team, it's a very good night.